name is Joey, or Gnome, and I go by he, his, him pronouns, the masculine pronouns. And I will be playing Teodor, who is a gnome eldritch knight.
So, Teodor, why don't you tell us a little bit about your character?
All right. Teodor is a 4'3" gnome with very dark gray skin, bleach white hair, white kind of gluey eyes, but they are always hidden behind garnet colored goggles that wrap around his head, and always just kind of stern looking, very serious, stoic type posture, shiny, well, not shiny, but polished armor.
Yeah. Well maintained.
Well, very well maintained. Every morning it is repolished, swords sharpened, everything is prim, proper, and ready to go, to be prepared for battle. And he has a long sword towards his right side, and there is, aside like the metal pauldrons, half breastplate, and a navy blue gambeson that kind of goes just about to his knees. Very stocky sort of little guy, and he's got these leather straps that come across to the one arm, which actually wrap around the arm, which is a harness for his shield, because he's actually missing from just above the elbow, totally missing this part of his arm. And so he's learned how to protect himself by, kind of like latching on a shield to this side to keep his body protected while he fights left-handed.
Yeah, and he's adapted to that well.
Yeah, he's had about a couple of years of practice with it.
Because he wasn't born with this. This was an injury.
This was an injury, yeah.
Excellent. Yeah. And how did that happen?
That happened during a troll attack. They were ambushed. His mother and a small troop were supposed to be delivering an important message to the main part of the kingdom from the fort that he lives in, and they were just ambushed by a whole bunch of trolls, and it went south really fast. And
as ambushes from trolls tend to do.
Yeah, they do. A lot of folks died, and he did not, thankfully, but he did come out with a lot of wounds.
Mental and physical wounds.
Yeah.
Sure,
Yeah.
Absolutely. And what would Teodor be doing now?
Teodor is kind of not sure what to do. I mean, he's only the equivalent of like 14 years old, but he was raised in this military life. This is the only life he knows, so he stays to the fort. He takes his duty very seriously. He's watched a lot of like the humans go from being rookie rank to now they're lieutenants, now they're captains, or they're not here anymore. So that's the only life he's known is this fort and protecting the people.
Sure.
So that's all he's doing.
Maybe he's had an opportunity here or there for advancement, but he doesn't want to be assigned somewhere else, so he stayed here.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, this is where his mom was, and he doesn't have the heart to just get up and leave yet.
Yeah. Yeah. This is home.
This is home.
All right. Well, I would say one night you were on duty with your friend Renal. And Renal is a human who lives in the village. I imagine this is a human and gnome village.
It's actually like all human.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
Teodor's the only gnome. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay, gotcha. So he is a friend of yours, and well enough. You guys are on duty frequently. You talk a lot. And you guys have been assigned to one of these outposts. So around the edge of the city, they don't have a full wall, but they have these wooden outposts that are about 20 feet high that provide them with a good viewpoint and the ability to warn the rest of the city if anything, or the rest of the town if anything's incoming. So you guys have just been like on watch for a couple hours. It's quiet. It's always quiet. And it's especially quiet during these months because it's like the harvest is wound down. It's going into winter. And people are just getting ready to, batten down and survive it, basically. Yeah.
It's cold.
He's up there, and after like a couple hours, the only thing you don't like about, it's like, he's a good dude, but he gets bored easily. So like 3 hours into your watch, he's already pulling out a deck of cards and like looking to deal you in. You know what I mean?
No, we need to keep watch.
Well, I mean, for what? Yeah, I mean, I know we're here, but and he gestures out towards this, clear starlit night where you can see 300 yards right down in this open, it's a little, like, it gets a little marshy towards the edges, but it's pretty much an open field. It's like, where are they going to be? We'll see them. Just a couple games.
All right. I guess.
I would like you to roll. I would like you to roll. What would be like a luck card game roll? What would that be? It's not really sleight of hand because you're not trying to hide anything.
No, but luck.
Yeah. You know what?
Just a straight roll?
A straight roll plus intelligence.
All right.
Yeah.
That's 18 for me.
Yeah, you crush him. He loves cards, but he's terrible. He's just terrible. And you play 3 hands of poker, you rip him every single time. He switches over to 3-card ante or whatever. You rip him again. He keeps trying to play, but you keep winning, and he just kind of eventually just folds up the cards and puts them down. It's like, all right, let's do watch.
Sorry.
So you're kind of watching out for a while. And it is such a quiet night. Like, there's no real insects because it's too cold. Mm-hmm. You're not really hearing any wolves because they're further up in the mountains. It's just a quiet evening. What would you be doing besides watching?
Probably just double checking my armor, making sure everything is functional. My straps are, okay. Nothing's kind of rusting because sometimes those darn straps, if it gets a little water in it, then they'll rust, and you don't want it to snap in the middle of battle. And just polishing up my sword, making sure it's okay, and kind of looking over to Renal and be like, give me your sword. Yeah,
because it's in terrible shape, and he doesn't even. He's like, yeah, please, please do it.
So Teodor sets it down between his legs and just kind of just starts polishing the sword.
He's kind of looking out, looks back at you, and he's looking out again. He's like, do you ever think about going anywhere else?
Where'd I go?
Anywhere.
This is home. Everything I need is here.
He kind of sighs. He's like, I want to see something different. I want to have an adventure. I want to be part of something bigger than me. Than just this town.
Well, what's holding you back?
And I don't know. This is my lot. I mean, I'm not officer material. You know that. I don't have anything about me that makes me special.
Well, you're terrible at cards, but you've got a good heart.
Yeah.
Why don't you look into, I don't know, a doctor or something?
I can't be a doctor, and we don't have money. We don't have pull. We can't get into those schools. I mean, my parents worked really hard all their lives, and what do they have to show for it? I'm just looking at the same thing now. Just the life of guarding other people and their money and their things until I'm too old and too broken to do anything else.
But you're doing what needs to be done. This is, maybe you don't think it's your lot, but somebody has to do it. Somebody has to make sure that when you were a kid, you were safe. When your parents made sure of that, right?
Yeah, but we're not protecting kids. We're protecting things.
Yeah, but those things still belong to somebody. Somebody still cares about those things.
They'll always belong to somebody. And he kind of looks out and he puts his, his forearms on the wood and is just staring out into space. Roll perception.
That I have nothing in. Oh, but that's an 18.
Nice.
Ooh.
So he's just kind of off in his own head. And obviously just done talking for a bit, right? Like, all right, so you're doing your duties. You fix his sword. It's great. And hands it back and he nods. You get all your stuff in order. And then you too just start looking out for watch. And you're watching for a while. And the moonlight is bright and highlights everything clearly. You can see all the mounds towards the swamp edges and the marsh. And then you just see, you could swear you see one rise. Maybe 300 yards to the west.
Hey, Renal.
Yeah?
Is something moving out there? As I point with that arm.
He follows your hand and he's, wait a minute. Yeah. And as you're both looking, the mound kind of like rises and shuffles forward and shuffles forward. And then as it moves more into the light, more towards you, you can see this curved, rotted nose and these horrible long arms, and your heart just goes cold because you know right away exactly what that is. And it's a troll. And it's coming towards your town.
I just stand there. I don't move. I
Yeah.
stare at it. Just totally frozen.
As you're standing there, like you're in this kind of, like, there's this high-pitched whine in your ears, and you can't hear anything, and your head has gone hot, and you're just in this space where you're just not reacting. And then you recognize eventually he is shaking your arm. It's like, Teodor, it's a troll. And he's already like now onto the side, and he's gathering up a couple logs and throwing them into this pyre in the middle and trying desperately to light them.
Yeah. Okay. He's just freaking out. He can't. Like, this would be nothing. If this was anything else, this would be nothing. A cakewalk. But he can't remember how to help him strike a freaking stone against another stone to make a dang spark.
Yep.
And he's just like stumbling around, like trying to get some stuff, and like, you know, maybe like like Renal was just about to get that, like just the right one, and Teodor just like bumps into him,
Totally.
and so it drops onto the floor instead of to the pyre.
Yep.
Yeah. It's
So you guys
not
are
looking great.
still not quite lighting it, and this thing is about maybe 4 rounds away.
Oh God.
And you hear this awful guttural throat howl from it. Just kind of rises up out of it.
Teodor is just like trembling, and he's trying to take another stone, and he sets it down by his foot and just starts striking it as hard as he can to his foot in the pyre, just to get any type of spark to ignite with it.
Roll survival.
Oh, I did not pick. This is not a wisdom character.
Yeah, that's enough to, yeah. A couple of sparks go off, hit the kindling, and whoom, it goes right up. It's very dry wood. It's kept that way on purpose, right? And it goes up right away. It starts to rise into the center of this thing. The roof is open so the heat can escape. And there's also glass panes set around the top to magnify it, so the whole top ends up glowing orange. So you've set the first pyre, and then after a few seconds you can see other ones going off as they're responding to your signal.
Okay, good.
2 rounds away.
Renal, we have to engage.
And he's already got his sword, and he looks at it, and the fact that you've sharpened that blade, and he looks at you with this like, thank you. And he slams it home, and he's like, okay, let's try and get around behind it.
Okay. Shift his shield over, lock it in place, and then grab his sword out and head on down so that they can kind of weave around.
If you break around north, there's some hills you could go behind. If you break around south, there's some scraggly trees.
Okay. Do you want to split? Take it by surprise?
Okay, you want north or south?
Oh, I can take south.
I'll take north.
Okay.
And he goes and starts walking behind these hills, and I assume you go and start walking behind these trees. Roll me is stealth. Nice. So you start moving around these trees, and they are just the right height for you because they're scraggly, but they're kind of thick and moss covered at the bottom. So you can kind of work with just the trunks, and you are easily dipping from one to the next. And as you're walking, you're just catching the troll, in between trees as you're walking next to him, and he's just getting about into position, maybe 20, 30 feet away, and he's coming straight down the middle, just like you guys had hoped. And you kind of like back up, and you have your sword, and you get your back against a tree, and you're ready to strike. And as you look over, you see, what was his name? I'm sorry?
Renal,
sorry.
you named
I know,
it.
I just did it 5 seconds ago. It's amazing how bad I am with names. You look over, and you see Renald, and he's like slid up onto one of the hills, and he goes to pull his sword out, and he gets it out, but he slips. His foot's like on some pebbles, and he slips and kind of stumbles, and his his sword falls out of his hand and clanks down the hill towards the troll, who turns and growls. Initiative.
Ah, no. 12.
12. Okay. I would say that you go first. Yep, you go first, and the troll goes next, and then Renault. Also, it's nighttime.
I know. Look at the whole lot of lights.
So, what are you doing?
Stealing myself, because I can't let Renault get hurt. So I have to go in. I have to go in. And I go ahead and I start heading towards it as quietly as possible, so I can kind of get from behind.
Yeah, but it's only about 20 feet, so you could like scamper up behind it quietly and nail it.
Okay.
Yep.
To try to not get it to move any further, I'd like to get as close as possible and slash at one of the like the Achilles heel.
Excellent. I would say roll to hit, and because your stealth was so good, roll with advantage.
Okay. 16. That is not 16.
Right. So 16 total?
16 total.
Gotcha. Yeah, so you come up, describe your action.
So Teodor, is kind of like, keeping low, keeping quiet. He works out every day, so he's got that like quad game on pretty good.
Yeah.
Squat's good, and so he's small, so it helps.
Yeah. Easy to be low to the ground when you're low to the ground. Yeah.
Yeah. He's not looking up, which is
right.
a dumb move. He knows it's a dumb move, but he needs to just be focused on what he thinks is going to be the best course of action. And he gets right up to the leg and just as quickly as possible just slits it.
Roll damage.
That's 5.
Okay.
Slashing.
So you cut into it, not quite as deep as you wanted, but you definitely get its attention. So you slice into its leg, you see its knee kind of buckle a bit, and it turns to face you, and when it does, you see that it's burned. Its chest is burned all up, and it goes, there's burn marks over its face. Its one arm is kind of tucked in, and like its hand is bent backwards, again, all burned. And it smells of fire. It smells of smoke. This happened recently. And it just lets out a roar as it looks down at you. Does a 16 hit you?
Oh, 16 will not hit me.
So it just angrily swipes towards you, but you're well trained and you're low to the ground and you manage to dodge and weave right out of the way. As you do that, your friend Rendell, right?
Rental!
Oh, God.
Renault?
Renault.
Is there a D? Is it a Renault?
You know what? It's Rennie. So Rennie.
Yeah, Ren.
Ren. Perfect. Ren runs and grabs his sword up and just tries to stab the thing in the chest. Does not succeed. Close, but just couldn't quite get the balance right and couldn't quite get there in time. So now you guys are on either side of it. It's very aware of both of you. You're hearing some yelling in the distance, a couple soldiers, people are obviously responding to this. So it sounds like you'll have backup shortly, but not right now.
Okay.
What do you do?
I've got to strike again. I'm gonna, because it's still facing me.
Yep.
It's facing me. I'm gonna go ahead and just try to like stab right into the knee. Like it's again just more tactical decision.
Take it out its legs.
Take out the legs, disable it so it can't go anywhere.
Nice.
So yeah. That's a nat 20.
Ooh, that is definitely gonna hit. That is totally gonna hit. Why don't you go ahead and roll your damage and then tell me what happens?
Low damage. It's a 1.
Well, you roll it twice.
That's another 1.
Gotta be kidding me. So plus that's such a disappointment. So
3.
plus 3. So 5. It's the same damage, even though you rolled a natural 20.
Nope.
That.
Oh, he's so horrified right now.
Right, exactly. Just trembling.
He got the point, but
Yep.
it just wasn't enough.
Wasn't quite enough. Go ahead and describe how that went down.
So, Teodor is a very tactical fighter.
Yeah.
He knows he's at a disadvantage for a multitude of reasons, and he just he knows opponents' weaknesses, and this is not the first time that he's encountered a troll. But he also knows that this isn't going to work. But again, if he could just take him down, just do it. And so he just kind of, after like kind of moving to the side, uses that momentum and just slides, swipes his sword towards the knee to try to do something to the joint.
So it wasn't a huge amount of damage. You didn't get the blade in there that deep, but you got it right underneath the kneecap, right underneath that floating joint where the kneecap is. So you hear this weird, loud pop and almost like a hiss of air and a blood-curdling scream as the thing looks down at you with this blade buried into its knee, and it seems angry, and it's going to swipe at you.
Hashtag relatable. I have done that to my knee. Not with a blade, though.
It's the worst.
It is awful, yeah.
So it swipes at you and misses, and then it kind of leans down and goes to bite you. Does a 23 hit you?
Yeah, 23 is going to hit.
So you, in the same shoulder where you've lost part of your arm, that's gross, dripping, fang-faced teeth, and again, like half its mouth is just burned away, so the gums are open, and you can see the teeth inside. It just tears into your shoulder, and you take 10 points of damage. So it kind of like lifts you up a bit and tosses you back, and you kind of fall backwards 5 feet away, and your sword comes out of its knee, and just your whole shoulder is just torn up. So the same creature, the same injuries.
Yeah, this is not good. Teodor's gonna just kind of lay there for a moment, like just almost like a traumatic flashback, really, because he's been in the mouth of one of these things before. He feels that like that rush of white just kind of coming over, and he just wants to close his eyes and hope that it's gonna be okay and be over.
Who wouldn't, right? Ren sees you go back. You hear him shout no, and like trying to get the creature's attention as he jumps forward and tries to bury a sword into its chest. And it just knocks him to the side. He just can't quite get a hit in there. It is now your turn.
I'm gonna open my eyes, and I'm still here. I can move. I'm not crushed under the weight of a dead troll.
Not yet.
Not yet. Hopefully not ever again. And I can hear like Renaud, kind of like huffing and fighting. And I'm gonna kind of just push up, and I'm not even gonna look. I don't even want to look. I have a duty. I can do this. Okay. And I just go running back in and just try to take a swipe at it again.
Now, you can see that it's been hurt by what you've done, and it was clearly hurt before, so it's not moving as quickly as it first was, and even then, it wasn't moving as fast as you remember trolls moving. Roll to hit.
16.
Yeah, absolutely. You bury it right into it. Roll damage.
Well, it's better. 8.
Yeah, so you just cut like deep into its left side, and again, it just kind of roars and pulls around, and then it goes to grab you. Roll me a opposed strength check and beat an 8.
I got a nat 8.
Nice.
But I have a +3 in strength.
There you go. So you're stronger than you look, A. And B, again, its fingers are kind of marled. One of them is broken and folded back. And as it grabs you, you're able just to slip right out of its fingers as the talons close right around your neck and just kind of scrape ever so slightly against your neck.
It's cruel. Yeah. That's so cruel to a kid.
Yeah, it really is cruel. It's terrible, actually. I'm a monster. Your friend jumps in again. Ren gives him another swing. Ren once again misses. You can polish a man's sword, but right? You can't make him swing it. Yep.
Come on, buddy.
Now, you are now hearing galloping towards you, so you know that people will be here in one round. Approximately.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Yeah. So you got one more round. You got to hold this guy off.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and, with my sword, kind of like get high, like kind of jump up towards him and slam the sword in.
Yeah.
Because I know the only way to take these things down, you got to do something with the head.
Okay.
And I'm too short from the ground to do it from there.
Sure.
So I want to climb up on this creature.
Okay.
And using like my sword as like a pulling and then stepping point at some point.
I would like you to roll athletics.
Okay. That's a nat 20.
Okay. So describe how you get up on its back.
All right. So when it turns around, because the Ronald now kind of like taking a strike, Teodor is gonna look for like something high, so like either a fallen tree or something, where he can at least get that extra 2 feet or something.
There are some hills around you, so you could like get up and like really easily, and then kind of come down.
Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. And that's He's gonna like take a moment, focus on the surrounding, get up on one of those hills, and just take one of those like awesome running type jumps and just like leap across and then slam the sword into the creature so that he has that vantage point, so that he'll start climbing up on him so you can get to the head.
So you run, you make this leap. The moon is silhouetted in the distance just as you leap across this area, and you see him turning towards your friend. And you land on his back and you drive that sword home, but in its back, where the flesh is burnt, there's some sort of like metal shoulder plate. And as you dive into what you thought was flesh, it dings off and it catches you off guard, and your sword just pops out of your hand. You quickly grab onto its back again, and you're up there, but your sword just fell.
Okay.
There's a wave of panic and confusion, and then quickly it seems replaced with cold, steady, confident, unbreakable, and your hand begins to vibrate. Where your hand was begins to vibrate. You can feel it. You can feel your hand. You can feel your arm as if it's right there.
It's not like a phantom thing.
You can feel it. You can feel your fingers open and close, and then you can see around the edges of where your hand should be like a shimmering line, like crystal, sparkling in the moonlight.
What? I reach out hesitantly, but still like I'm in battle, and I touch the creature.
As you begin to reach out, you feel a solidity forming in your arm, and it's forming into a long crystal that forms and narrows and narrows, and your fingers fall together, and then there's a blade, and it's ready. And as your hand is moving forward, you're ready with this blade, and you're confident with it in a way you've never felt before with a sword, even though you're so comfortable with them.
Can I just slice right in then?
Roll to hit.
16.
Yeah. It plunges through this back armor like it was nothing, cuts through it like butter. In fact, it halves the shoulder joint, and it just falls away as it sinks deep into its flesh, and there's a searing bubble as you cut into it. The thing screams and rails back. I would like you to roll damage, and it's damage for a longsword.
That is a 6.
6. Okay, so it starts to like flail and try and get you off it, right? Roll me a strength.
That's a 16, 19.
But you're able to hold on as you are.
Just like in there.
Ren misses again.
Ren.
It is like slightly, but Ren is also screaming, over here, over here, and just arrows just plunge into this creature's chest. It falls onto one knee, and you feel like you could just kind of rip that sword up and end it now.
All right, so bearing in, I just kind of shirk it right up. I mean, like my arm is now inside this creature.
Yep.
And just go. I know where to
Drive
go.
upwards towards the
right
brain.
up towards the brain.
Roll me a strength.
No, I'll get the 1.
Don't get the one.
Get the 1. No, that's 17. We're good.
Yeah. You are able to cut straight up into this creature's brain. I would like you to roll double damage. So roll double damage for a longsword. You drive it straight into the creature's brain. You feel its back kind of shudder and spasm, and then it drops to its knees, and you are able to pop off, and it collapses in front of you. Within a second, there are men on horseback with torches just surrounding it, chopping it up with axes, just cutting it into smaller pieces and then burning the pieces right away. You see this happening a couple more times around you. There's at least 3 or 4 more fires that have come up around you. The captain of your guard, Captain Leopold. So Captain Leopold is there. And he's on horseback, and he's looking very serious and dour, like he usually looks. He has this like kind of long silver mustache thing that like goes down and has like the little dwarf beads, right?
Yeah, I saw
You know, yeah. He's just he's very into his own facial hair. You all right, Teodor? Ren? Yeah, we're fine, right? We're fine. What happened? Well, there's been a troll attack. Seem to have been driven out of the marsh. They're all burned and damaged. I think it could be on purpose. Stay alert. And he, and then, calls the other guys, and they go riding off to another place and you're just left with this burning pile of troll. Yeah.
Just going to take a moment to breathe.
Yeah. Yeah. And you're wounded.
I am
Really wounded. And Ren's already got out like a medicine pack and everything. And he rolls shitty, so... Damn, Ren.
Go back to playing cards.
Seriously, Ren, you are not helpful. So
he knew his place in life.
He's like trying to wrap things around you, but it's like just this massive bandages.
No, stop.
I'm sorry.
Ren,
Okay.
Ren, it's... I'll be okay. I'll be okay. We've just...
You don't look okay, man.
No, I'm fine. And if I kind of I look down at my arm.
Yeah.
Is
And
that
as you do,
really
like
still there?
the diamond is retracting into your arm and vanishing, and like just this glittery dust is left behind. What the hell was that?
I don't know.
He kind of looks and he touches your arm. It's like, you don't know what that was?
I have no idea. Why would I know what that is?
I don't know. Maybe you were holding out, man. I don't know.
If I was holding out, then I wouldn't be here, right?
You have a sword arm. You have a sword for an arm. Maybe a magical sword arm. Right? That's what that was, right?
I have no idea. How am I supposed to know? I've never heard of magical sword arms.
I don't know. I've heard of stuff. I mean,
I've heard of magic and... but I'm not magic.
Well, you must be. Or someone cast a spell on you? And he kind of looks up, and standing right there is a dwarf in resplendent robes with a large staff, standing maybe 10 feet away from you. It's not quite magic.
Who are you?
Hello. I am, and I can't remember his name. What was his name?
Oh, no. What was the dwarf's name?
We just said it earlier. It was like Vesrin or something. Vesrin. We'll just go with Vesrin.
Vera was the lady.
Oh, it was the lady.
I don't remember what the dwarf was.
Oh,
Did I write
shoot.
I don't have my
That's all right.
thing open.
That's all right. There's a dwarf.
There's a dwarf.
Yeah. Exactly. He's a very dwarfy. It's not quite magic. It's magic-like.
That's fine, but who are you?
Well, and he says his name. And then he puts his staff down. He's like, I am a seeker. I deal with these matters all the time. You were Ren, correct? I think I heard that name. Yeah, I'm Ren. Yeah, it's excellent. No need of you. So carry on. Do your duties. We're just going to talk for a moment. And Ren kind of looks to you to be like, and you shake your head no.
No.
And Ren's like, no, we're on duty. We have to stay together because we are on watch. It's the first time Ren's ever done that. He'd kind of work it out. Is that right? No, that's right. Yeah, we're
that's
on duty.
my job.
Yeah, that's what I do. Yeah. And the seeker looks at him. And he's like, your loyalty is admirable. However, I have authority here. So you are going to have to give us a moment. And Ren looks back at you and he's like,
On whose authority?
well, on divine authority, actually. All authority. All authority that was ever given and ever will be.
I don't understand.
Okay. And he kind of gestures to a couple rocks around you with a burning troll in the middle of it. And he's, sits down, places the staff over his lap. How can I explain this? You know of the gods.
Yes.
You know of the war.
Yes.
And you know the chaos that came from it.
Mm-hmm.
Have you heard of the Temple of Udea?
What I'm not.
Roll history.
I am a studied nerd.
Yeah.
I have a lot of time to read. Oh yeah, no, that's great. 22.
Oh, yeah. So you've heard of the temple, and you know that the temple is a place where demigods are sent, and they have to go there, but that's pretty much all you know about it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so would you relate that back to him?
Yeah, I'm familiar with it, but just kind of in passing.
That's actually quite good. You are correct. The Temple of Udea is a training ground of sorts for new demigods to decide if they get to live and also if they get to truly inhabit their powers.
Why are you here then?
That's a good question. I am a seeker. I travel the lands in search of young demigods. When a young demigod emerges, when they use their power for the first time, it is like a beacon. We can see it for miles. It's the only time we can. Usually then we have to be close up. About as close as this. And he points his staff towards you, and as it lowers towards you, it begins to glow brightly. And as soon as it gets near you, it glows so bright you have to guard your eyes. Just like that. Yeah. That's how we find you.
So, are you saying I'm a demigod?
And then over towards the side, Ren's like, what? And, and then also kind of like got a sword half out, right? Like just in case, He's like, what the hell? And the dwarf goes, yes, you are a demigod. Not sure of what yet, but you are one. The arm trick was neat. Wasn't sure if you were going to survive that battle. Glad you did. We're not really allowed to intervene, of course. But it was a good test to find out what you are.
How do we know we can trust you?
You don't. You don't have an option here. And as you're talking, like a couple more of the lieutenants in your army kind of ride up, and they were like, who are you? And he turns like, well, I am a Seeker. And they both know what that is. Mm-hmm. And they turn to both of you real quickly and like, what do you have to do with our men? Well, one of them is a demigod. And they just kind of look at each other pale. And one of them orders to go give a report to the commander immediately. And the other one nods and rides away slowly and kind of looks at Ren and gives him like a stay with him order and rides off. See, they know.
I just keep like looking back to Ren, like, help me here, bro. Like,
Ren doesn't know what to do.
What are we supposed to do?
He's so out of his element. He's like, he has no idea. Like everything he said before, he's like, God, I wish it was just normal now.
Right?
Why can't things just be normal?
I want more trolls.
Yeah, please. And he's like, look, I know this is confusing and probably upsetting, but the rules are very, very clear. We find demigods. We bring them to the Temple of Udea, so that they do not run rampant with these powers they cannot understand or control. This keeps both you safe and those who you live with safe. What if you could not control this arm? What if it gets more? What if you explode in shards and blades in the middle of a market?
Well, I wouldn't want that.
No one wants that. So we come and we find you. And we take you to a place where you can learn to use these abilities safely.
So, you're telling me that I have to leave here
Yes.
to go to the Temple of Udea
Yes.
because I'm a demigod.
Correct.
Are you sure I didn't die? And he like pokes at his own wound to make sure that it still hurts.
Yeah.
Like,
It definitely hurts.
Yeah.
It definitely hurts. And he's like, no, you did not die. And he actually lifts up your shirt and sees the wound and places a hand over it and just kind of murmurs for a moment. And there's this warmth and a glow beneath his hand. And you feel your flesh reknit and the pain just slide away. And he moves his hand and you're fully healed.
That's incredible.
all be thanks to my God.
So you're a demigod too?
No, no, my child. I am simply a loyal follower. And I am blessed with a small amount of power for that loyalty.
Well, thank you.
Of course. Your injuries have been something you have overcome. I can see that. I can see your determination. I can see your fearlessness. You'll need all of that in the temple. I will not lie to you. It will be difficult. However, the journey you are on will provide you with more power and more ability to use that power than anything else could in your entire life.
That's a lot to take in. I mean, I still don't. It seems so unreal, like something out of a fairy tale, lost somewhere in a library that nobody ever reads.
Well, it's going to get weirder. That I can promise you.
So what do I have to do now?
Well, and he stands up, and he gets his staff, and Ren stands up as well. Let's go collect your things.
I have to leave right now?
We're leaving tonight.
Tonight.
Yes, sir.
But he just kind of like looks to Ren, like.
Ren just, again, is just shrugging and everything. It's like, you can speak. It's fine. It's not a thing. You can say your mind here. And he's like, you got to do it. Are you kidding me? What are you even hesitating for?
Hang on. Ren.
No problem. And he steps to the side.
This is my home.
You're not.
My people are here.
We were just. You're a demigod. These aren't your people. I'm not your people. I'm always going to be your friend, but no one here is your people. Don't you understand? You're a demigod.
But going out on adventure or something, that was you. You want that. I'm fine here.
I was never special. You're special.
So I have to go.
You have to. You live and breathe responsibility. You know what that means. You know what it means better than I ever would. You've been given a responsibility. How many of those people are awful? How many of them are selfish? How many of them are horrible? You have to go, and you have to be better.
Okay.
All right, come on, I'll help you get your things.
Thanks,
And
Ren.
the dwarf kind of walks back up. It's like, all set?
Yes, sir.
Your friend's wiser than he looks.
He's a good guy.
If you ever were looking into being a seeker, might be able to use someone like you. I'll leave you my card. And he actually got
Call
one.
me later.
No, he's actually got like these little wooden cards
Oh
that
my
have been,
God,
yeah,
yes.
absolutely. And you can tell that it's clearly like his own thing. Like he
Yeah.
probably sits there and carves
Yeah,
these. Like,
sure.
and like to hand one out would be like 30 minutes of work. So
Yeah.
he hands him this little wooden card, right? And the guy holds it because it's a business card and it means nothing in a land of no phones and emails.
Yeah.
And he's like, I don't understand. And he's like, and there's like his name, right? And there's Sika of the blah, blah, right?
The whole title.
Right. And then there's just this beautiful carving of a bird. Oh, no, sorry. There's a beautiful carving of a dragonfly at the top of it, and he flicks it. Just kind of flicks the card, and as he does, the dragonfly wings began to lift off it and form, and he flicks it again, and they fall back down. It's like, if you ever wish to speak with me, if you ever wish to try something different, flick the card. And he hands it to him. He's like, wow. He's like, that's cool. You know, that is really
Teodor
cool.
just kind of like nudges him
Yeah.
a little hard, you know,
Yeah.
than normal, but like, yeah.
And so Ren's psyched. And Ren walks with you back to your house. Where do you live? Do you live with family? Do you live alone?
I live alone.
You live
in
alone.
the fort, in the barracks.
Right. You live in the barracks. Right. Okay. So Ren walks back with you. This has gotten around by now. So there are, because a fort is, I mean, gossip flies faster on a military base than anywhere else in the world.
So fast.
Because there's nothing to do. So people are bored. So everyone's kind of gathered around. Definitely all the enlisted people are gathered around, kind of looking. No one's really approaching you because you're with the Seeker. At one point, a commander walks up and is like, Seeker, a word, please. And he agrees and walks away where you guys are packing. So what are you doing? Just pack it up?
Yeah, like Teodor's head is just down. He feels like he's in trouble, like he's done something wrong.
Yeah.
Though he hasn't done anything wrong, but
Almost like a punishment.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, like this is his life. This is what he loves. Why are you taking him away from this?
Yeah.
He's
Why can't you
good
have
here.
it anymore?
Yeah.
You're just not allowed to have it.
Yeah.
It's like this is no longer an option.
Oh.
Yeah. And Ren is like
Sucks.
seeing you, like, and he's like, normally you'd be the one that's knocking off all the T's, right? And you know, and dotting all the I's, but he's like reminding you to pack your flint and reminding you to do this, right? Like you love the sweater, you know, and he's like getting you all your things all packed up.
No, it's fine. Just
Where's it gonna go? How long are you gonna be gone?
should have asked that. Darn.
Well, let's just keep packing until he gets back. And as they're saying that, he comes walking back, and he's like, "How's it going? No rush, just how's it going?"
Fine, sir. But I did have a question.
Of course.
How long will I be gone for? I'll be able to come back, right?
Yes, you will absolutely be able to come back
Oh,
after
that's great.
approximately 4 years.
Oh. Well, I guess that's not too terrible.
It's not forever, and he's a dwarf, so it's like 4 years in
Yeah,
that
I know.
long
And
to
4
him.
years for a gnome is
Yeah.
like,
Yeah, it's like, okay.
all right, I'll be 15
It's
by
really-
the time
yeah.
I come back.
It's like a really long summer, you know.
Yeah.
All right, yeah.
Oh, okay.
And Ren's like 4 years. Okay, well, and he definitely. And then as soon as he hears it, he definitely packs the sweater.
No, Ren. Just the basics. I don't need to bring anything with.
You're gonna be there for 4 years.
Yeah.
Bring everything. Is it okay if he brings a lot? He's like, man, it's fine. We have a whole wagon, and then we're going to a ship. So, yep, you know, pack whatever you wish.
Wait, a ship?
Yes.
Like water ship?
Well, most ships are on water. They're all airships, yes. But in this particular case, we will be taking a large vessel, a stable one. Never been on the ocean before.
No, sir.
Okay, well, this got more fun. Look, pack everything you need. There's plenty of room.
Okay.
Whatever makes you feel comfortable, please bring with you.
He literally everything that Ren packed,
Yeah.
he doesn't take with.
Yeah,
It is
right.
like the smallest
Right.
sack. Like he's wearing everything that means anything to him.
All the
Anything,
basics.
Anything else is just supplies.
Yeah.
He doesn't. He has no tokens of anything.
Right.
So
Yeah.
it's just the basics. Maybe a couple pairs of underwear and some socks.
Do you have anyone besides Ren you'd say goodbye to?
No.
Okay.
Everybody else has either moved on,
Yeah.
retired.
Right. Dead.
He's dead. Yeah,
Yeah.
he spent 34 gnome years here.
Yeah.
His mom's dead.
Yeah.
His troops all moved on, or they had to retire because they got injured
Right. Because they're human.
because they're human.
Yeah. All right. Then it must be, I can't imagine how weird it would be because Ren is the equivalent of like 19, right?
Yeah,
So
probably.
you're constantly making friends with people as they age up. So when a human is like 14 or 15, you wouldn't be friends with them. Once they got about 17, 18, 19, all of a sudden they become friends and then they quickly age out. But you're constantly hitting this small group of friends, even though you've been around for 5-6 times longer than they
Yeah.
have.
Yep.
Yeah, that'd be messed up. So
You get used to it. And
You
you
do.
focus on your duty
You
and your
focus on your duty,
responsibility,
yeah.
and you make sure your weapons are polished, and you become a fixture. Teodor is a fixture. Everybody
He's
knows
well-loved.
Teodor. Yeah.
he's well loved for a series of reasons. One, because he's kind, but two, because you do your shit. And when you do your shit as part of a military unit, when you are the reliable guy, oh, everyone loves that.
Yep.
Yeah. All right. Well, then Ren finishes helping you pack, and then you just both kind of stand up, and you're just kind of looking at each other. Does Ren know?
No,
Okay.
probably not. Like
Okay.
once his mom had let that out,
Yeah.
and then a couple years had gone by, and there's
Sure.
like new so maybe like higher ups know.
Sure.
But at that point, like, yeah, okay,
Yeah.
it's just normal. So nope.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah. Okay.
probably not.
Then Ren just kind of stands up and looks at you, and he's like, "Are you gonna be okay?"
I'll be okay. Are you gonna be okay?
And he just kind of smiles a little bit. And he's like, "Well, who's okay when they lose their best friend?
I'm gonna miss you.
I'm gonna miss you, man." He leans in, leans down, and
Does like the
yeah.
hug.
They don't even do the back pat. It's
No,
like,
no,
it's like a real,
it's
yeah,
a military brotherhood
totally,
hug.
totally.
for
It's
sure.
a real hug. And then he stands back. He's got a hand on your shoulder, and he slaps your shoulder hard once. He's like, "Go be amazing," and he chokes up a bit, and he has to turn, and then he just kind of walks out. He just like walks out.
Before he walks
Yeah.
out, like as he's doing that, I want to just jab him
Yeah.
in the side.
Go, yeah. And he laughs,
Take care of your sword.
and he laughs again. "I promise you, I mostly will." And he walks out.
I believe you.
Yep. Oh, well. And the dwarf just kind of nods, and he's like, "That was nice. You have made some good friends here, Teodor."
These are all good people.
They seem to be. Let's go make you strong so you can protect them in a way you never could before.
Okay.
Excellent. And he stands up and he like gestures towards the door, and the recruits that are just hanging out by it, quickly scatter. Right? Yeah. Oh, gee.
Mop it over here.
Yeah, I really was just peeling this potato.
Yep.
And he walks you down the hall, and he starts to talk to you about the fact that years and years ago there were dwarves in this area first, because there were some old mines that were abandoned, and he had relatives here, and there was copper and but they hit like a sulfur deposit. It's like this incredibly long and boring story about mining, basically.
But it's a little because Teodor is kind of a nerd,
Right.
So he's just like he's genuinely kind of interested
Sure.
in this stuff.
It's like, oh, really? Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, no way.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
had no idea.
238 years ago, and then So, and they kind of walk out, and there is a carriage just waiting for you.
I'm just gonna pause for a moment and turn around and look at the fort in all of its glory.
When you look back, there are, I don't know why I'm breaking up. When you look back, there is Ren, and there are several other of the enlisted people you knew, right? And they're all standing on the wall, and they've all got torches up, and they're all just holding them and quietly watching you.
Teodor's just gonna tear up and just turn around and start walking.
All right.
Just quiet tears.
The seeker opens the door for you. You both step into the wagon. It starts off, and we're going to stop right there.